Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's Strength Matters webinar series, the trusted source for health and fitness education. I'm James Breeze, and today we are with Ben Davis. Ben, how are you doing today?
I'm good. Hey, James. Hey, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here and to connect with you today and help you with your businesses.
Great, Ben. Thanks so much for joining us. The business advice for fitness professionals is something that is not often talked about. We always talk about the training aspects. We always talk about the nutrition aspects, the strength training aspects. But a very, very important component to us as health and fitness professionals is the business component, and it's also the most forgotten about. It's probably the most important aspect as well, so that we can help more people. So this is kind of why we've asked you to come on board with us today and talk to everyone and share this information and everything. So before we get into the 7 steps of doubling your fitness business income, can you just give people a little bit of background about where you come from, how you got started, and how you're working for MPE today?
Yes. So if you go on to the next slide, James, that's a picture of me on that slide. I qualified in the fitness industry in 2003 with Premier Training, who are an education company in the UK, and they gave me the confidence to go out into the marketplace and start to personal train people. I left there and wanted to earn money straight away, so I took a job in my local gym. I think it's for like £12,000 a year, and I was a gym instructor, which basically means a glorified cleaner. And that's not why I got into the industry. I got into the industry to change people's lives, not to clean treadmills. So I started walking the gym floor, gradually would pick up clients, and before I knew it, I was fully booked. I'd be up at 5 in the morning, in the gym for 6. I'd train people back to back all the way through till lunchtime. I would then work out myself if I had energy. I would eat, and then I would sleep in my car, or I'd sleep in the first aid room of the gym, which had a physio bed that I'd lay on. Then I'd repeat the process in the afternoon, evening, working from 4 all the way through till 9, 10 o'clock at night, doing back-to-back PT sessions. I'd work Saturday mornings, and I'd have Sundays off, and I repeated that schedule for 5 grueling years. And at the time, I loved it. I loved training people. I had a loyal client base, but I was broke. I was earning at that point no more than $30,000 a year. I was still living at home with my parents. Didn't have any savings, and was frustrated with the fitness industry. I knew it was where I wanted to be, and I wanted to break free from the gym. The only problem was that I didn't know any sales skills. I didn't know any marketing. My marketing strategy was to simply go up to people and talk. Hey, I'm a personal trainer. You're doing the lat pull down wrong, because that's quite common. The gym that I was working in, everyone would do the lat pull down wrong. I say, let me show you some other exercises that target the back with some dumbbells or barbells or stuff like that. And I'd pitch and say, hey, I can train you for 10 sessions. If you buy 10, you get one free. It's £300. Would you like to buy? And they'd either say yes, no, or maybe. And I knew that if I left the gym, I couldn't walk up to anyone in Tesco, Sainsbury's, and say, hey, I'm a personal trainer, come train with me, because that's not, 1, very professional, 2, I wouldn't succeed. So I knew that I needed to find a solution to my problems. And I was looking online, and I came across MPE in 2007. And at first I was really skeptical because it's American, and I didn't think it would work in the UK. But the more and more I read the emails, I used to get a printed newsletter through the post. I used to attend webinars. And I was like, okay, this makes sense. So I thought to myself, well, I want to go and meet them, shake their hands, look them in the eyes, and see if they're the real deal. So I borrowed some money off my dad, and I flew from London Heathrow to Boston in the States, attended this 3-day business convention called Mega Training. Now, I'd been on lots of educational courses around fitness and nutrition, but I'd never ever done a business conference or workshop. So this really opened my mind to what was possible. And I took a ton of notes, came back super excited. This was 2008, and the recession in England had just started. People were losing their jobs, the housing market was collapsing, the banks were collapsing, and there was, people were worried. And I walked into the gym, handed in my notice. My gym manager laughed at me and said I was crazy to go and start a business in a recession and charge more money for PT and group training. But I knew if I didn't do it then, I'd never do it, and I had MPE on my side. So if you just go on to the next slide, James. From there, left the gym, started my business in 2008, and built it from 8 clients. So when I left the gym gym manager wished me luck, and he said, oh, by the way, you can't take any clients with you because you're contracted not to. But 8 of them trickled over. So I started my business with 8, and I grew it to 258 clients, and I had a staff of 6 personal trainers and 1 sort of personal assistant admin that worked for me. We were generating anything in between 25 to 28,000 a month. Our best month ever was 32,000, and that's crazy because to think, rewind a few years, I was earning 12 grand a year as a gym instructor. Then I progressed up to a personal trainer, and I was earning no more than 30 grand a year. And suddenly I had this business that was bringing me in 25 to 28,000 a month. And so it's crazy to think that what I used to earn in a year, I was earning in a month. And I have no formal university degrees, college degrees, anything like that. The reason I was able to attract so many clients, service them really well, and generate lots of money was because I mastered how to market my business. I mastered how to sell. I got a team in to support me, so I wasn't a one-man band doing all the work, and put systems in place, and that enabled me to take 65 days off. I'd go away for 4 weeks, come back. I'd go away for a week, come back, go away for 10 days, come back. And my business was there to support my lifestyle and not the other way around. So many personal trainers and just normal business owners, they have a business where they can't leave it because it's going to fall apart. If they leave it, they don't get paid. There's a great book, actually, if you write this down, I'm sure James has read it, called The E-Myth. And I picked that book up back in 2008, Michael Gerber. And yeah, fantastic book, highly recommend it. And basically, do you have a business or do you have a job? And before MPE, I had a job where I thought I had a business, but in reality, I had a job because if I left to go on holiday, I didn't get paid. If I was ill, I didn't get paid. Where, since I came on board with MPE, if I left the business, it still operated and I still got paid, the staff got paid, the clients still got results. If I was ill, then again, I had systems in place, so everything operated without me. In 2012, I've been with MPE for 4 years as a client. I've seen massive growth in myself and my business. And I'd fly over to Orlando 3-4 times a year. I'd attend a business conference, workshops, mastermind groups. And I was speaking with Sean Greeley, who owns MPE in the US. And we were talking. I was like, hey, more personal trainers, fitness business owners need exposure to MPE in UK, Europe region. We need to make this happen. So I moved over there for 3 months, lived in a hotel. We worked on a business plan, and then together we came back and we opened up MPE in the UK, and that was 2 years ago. And since then, we've gone on to grow. We have close to 500 clients across the whole of the UK, Ireland, people scattered throughout Europe, and we're making a massive impact on the UK fitness industry. That's my picture on the right-hand side. I've retired, but I used to play rugby. And prior to MPE, because I was always working like nights, not nights, but I was working in the evenings, I couldn't train for rugby, so my coach wouldn't select me for Saturdays. And then I'd be working Saturday mornings, so if we had an away game, I couldn't play. And if it was a home game, I'd be in the reserves or the second team because I couldn't train. That was frustrating. But when I implemented MPE's teachings, I was able to focus on my own health and fitness and get back into the rugby first team, which was a great achievement for me to do and something that I enjoyed as well.
It's just to stop you there. Now I'm just gonna, relate. You said a lot of points in. It's very keen. I see this a lot myself, and I can relate to a lot of your story as well. Because a lot of people, when they start out personal training, they see it as this wonderful, glamorous lifestyle where they're going to be training themselves all day long, just training a couple of clients, not doing anything else, but just having a great time. When in fact the reality is a pretty harsh reality. And I remember myself, those split shifts are an absolute killer. I was getting like you. I was getting up at say 5 in the morning. I was training a couple of clients from between 6 a.m. and 8 a.m. Then I'd be getting back home, doing other work, and getting a few more clients, having a few hours in the middle of the day before starting teaching again from 5 o'clock onwards, right through to midnight. And it was a repeat cycle. And you do burn out very, very quickly. In fact, coming from someone who was working on night shifts all the time with the police, I was used to being tired, but in fact, this lifestyle absolutely wore me out very, very quickly. And again, it's one of those key things. It's like, you have to understand that you've got to get systems and strategies in place to help you support this, because you will burn out. And the most worrying statistic I've seen and read recently is that the average lifespan of a personal trainer these days is just 3 years before they burn out and get fed up with the whole industry.
Yeah, and that's sad, because walking around in everyone's towns and cities right now are people crying out for your help. Massive obesity problems, health problems, and as an industry, we need to sharpen our skills as marketers and salesmen to go and help these people, get back to normal health, and so they can enjoy their life.
Exactly right. Yeah, and I think there's a great phrase I've started using a lot recently. As we have if we have a great product or service, we have a moral obligation to spread that message and spread that word out there to help people, because as health and fitness professionals, we have the ability to help a lot of people who don't know about our skill sets. And people think marketing is a dirty word, but it's not. Our marketing is helping people find out about us to help them solve their problems, and that's the key thing. We are problem solvers. We are problem solvers in the obesity epidemic, and that's what we're trying to help people with, is to get through all this clutter of crap basically out there, these magic pills and stuff like that out there that don't work. And these people believe in that stuff because those guys are marketing hard at them. What we need is, as great health and fitness professionals, and people who listen to this webinar, you're already above and beyond the initial stage of where you are when you first start training. Is that what we're trying to do, is help you get your message out there. And this is the key thing. We want to help you with not only your education skills for your strength training and mobility, stuff like that, but to help you hone in your skills with the marketing aspect to get that message out, to help reward you for what you're doing, but also to help people out there too.
Yeah, that's a great point. If I just touch on the third bullet down, the money I was generating, and because I know some fitness professionals, they just want to help people, and I'll come onto this more in detail in a bit, but you can't help yourself if you're broke. You can't help other people if you're broke. And the money I was generating was fantastic, because one, I could pay myself a very decent and above average wage. I could put money into savings, business savings and personal savings. I could spend a lot of money on education for me and my team, and I did. We was always attending conferences, workshops, seminars, and certification courses to become better skilled trainers. And what was the last one? Yeah, I think I've covered it. But when I was a trainer in a gym earning like no more than $30,000 a year, I could just about afford to live. I didn't really have excess money to go and spend on certifications. I certainly wasn't putting money into savings. So it's important, as you scale your business and as you grow, you're charging the correct fees, you're earning the money that you desire and you need, so you can become a better skilled trainer, put more money into savings, and grow the business.
Absolutely, it's a great way to point out, because the more you invest in yourself with education going forward and everything, the more you can help people further. Because, like I said, you have to constantly invest in yourself, because the moment you stop investing in yourself is the moment you start to step back a little bit and you let other people get ahead of you, and you can't help people. Because in the health and fitness industry, again, things are changing constantly. There's always new ideas, new thoughts. We're always improving, getting forward, but you always need to constantly invest. And if you can't keep investing, then you can be left behind with the time. So this is what we're trying to get across today, and trying to help you with, and trying to get the first steps to get you going, to really help you start beginning your journey with your fitness business.
Yeah. The next few slides are just some pictures of what I did. If you just go on to those, James.
Oh, the slide doesn't work.
That's a shame.
Okay, apologies about that, everybody. Problem in the upload system here onto the Google system. Let me go into the next page. There you go, loyal clients.
Yeah, so just a bunch of my clients. Like we would get like people turning up for sessions. It'd be me and 3 or 4 staff members training these guys, doing a lot of body weight stuff, kettlebells, sprints. We had a good turnout. Next picture is of me speaking. I would go and do lunch and learns. I'd put on workshops. Unfortunately, you can't see it, but there you go. That's of the crowd. We would go and speak, and we'd have 50 to 100 people turn up and listen to what we had to say. And all of these people were sort of prime prospects. And if you see around the room, there's a lot of stands. Those stands are my joint ventures, and they're like local osteopath, local chiropractor, physios, massage therapists, and equipment stores. And basically, they would be my partners, so they would generate business for me, and I'll go into some of that in a bit. The next picture is of me getting some national and local press. which was one of the great ways that we would generate leads into our business. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's showing, but just some paper cuttings of what we achieved. But yeah, without further ado, let's get stuck into the main content today. So what we're covering today, 7 steps to selling. So I first came across this material when I went to MPE in 2008, and I'd never really sold, or I didn't think I was a salesman, but I am. Everything you do every day, you're selling. You're selling your wife or your husband to help you do something, or you're selling your kids to get quicker in the morning for school, or you're selling your clients into believing the way that you train, or your nutrition. So you're selling every day. But I came into this material and I thought, wow, this is quite interesting. This won't work in the UK. Well, it does, and it's been proven time and time again. So what we're covering is basically some basic sales to help you communicate better what you do to prospective clients. If you just go through the 9 bullets for me, James. So the first one is packaging and pricing, then pre-qualification, building rapport. Step 4 is probing and discovery questions, identifying customer needs, building the problem, presenting the solution, closing the sale, and then handling the objection. So there's a lot of bullet points, a lot of stuff we've got to cover. James, I think you missed a slide prior to that.
Which one? Do you want to go back?
Yeah, number 9.
Yeah. No, it's number 8, and on number 9 now. What we're covering today.
Yeah, common problems it was called.
Have a look now. I think there's been a problem with the upload to Google since then. Apologies, Ben. Common problems comes in number 10.
Okay, cool.
So, there we go. Common problems.
Yeah, so common problems in the fitness industry, and you may nod your head at this. So most fitness professionals struggle because they haven't learned how to effectively communicate the value of their service. What I see quite often is personal trainers advertising what they do on their website, on flyers, etc., and then they have their price. So a prospective client sees, say, like personal training, £50 an hour, and they instantly make a decision that, oh, that's too expensive, or yes, I can afford that. And that's totally the wrong way to go about it. What you really need to do is take all of your prices off of your marketing and get the prospective client to pick up the phone and call you. Then you can communicate with them the value that you have to offer, and then you can attach a price to that. But if you just say, oh, personal training with James Reese is £50, and I've never had personal training before, know what he does, know what's the difference between him and someone who's just qualified, I'm going to be skeptical and not want to buy. But the idea is to drive people to pick up the phone and communicate with you, and then you communicate back the value that you have to offer them. So, hey, I've been in the industry X amount of years, I have all of these qualifications, we've helped thousands of local men and women just like you. So as soon as you start adding that value, the price starts to shrink in the prospective.
That's a very good point to make, Ben, because what happens, we see it a lot all the time, is if the price is up there on your website and they start talking about what you're trying to do, it comes to price shopping. Now, if I'm going to go and buy a camera, for example, on Amazon, what I'm going to do, or on the internet, what am I going to do? I'm going to type a camera to Canon ES whatever into Google, and I'm going to price shop. That's the thing I'm going to do. I don't care about what business or company it comes from, as long as I get the cheapest camera. And sadly, people think the same way when it comes to personal training, but it's completely different. You have to put a value, like you said, on your services and what you do, and you can't do it by having your prices on the page in front of you until you actually explain what value you can provide to them and what services you can offer and what great benefits you can offer them at the same time. And like I said, what they'll do is they'll just scan your website, have a look at the pricing, and then they may completely forget about you and never come back if they see the pricing.
Yeah, we see that way too often. So yeah, number 1 tip, write this down. Take all of your pricing off of your marketing material. Leave a phone number. Get people to call you, and then have a script that you go through to communicate effectively what you do.
And also, just one thing on the phone number side of things as well, is, again, the number 1 mistake I see with nearly every personal trainer is they leave their mobile phone number on their marketing material. Look professional. You are offering a professional service. Have a landline number. It's great if you can have an 0800 number, etc. But if you can't, have a landline number there, so it sounds more professional and much more. You are offering a valued service, not a part-time PT business.
Yeah, that's a great point. If I call my solicitor, if I call an estate agent, if I call a plastic surgeon, a chiropractor, I don't see their mobile phone on their websites or their flyers, and it needs to be the same for you. If I call a local plumber, painter and decorator, carpenter, yes, they have their mobile phones on their vans, on their marketing, but you want to be seen in the same light as a professional because you are a professional. So make sure it's really cheap, as James said, just get a landline number.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, I think it's a good reference to point out to, we are like the chiropractors, the osteopaths, the physiotherapists of the world, but just in the fitness industry. And like I said, we want to offer that solution, that professional experience from start to finish, and it comes with not having your pricing on your marketing material and having a professional phone number. And also, I'd say the other thing is just to as well is when you have an email address, make sure it's your email address for your company, not joeblogs@googlemail.com or gmail.com, because that's exactly the same thing. First impressions count for a lot. Isn't that right, Ben?
Yeah, great point. Yeah.
Cool. Do you want to go to the next step?
Yeah. So common problems: how to price and package your services to get better results for your clients and a steady income for you. So, and James would have seen this in the industry, and I'm sure you guys too. And if you're making this mistake, change it instantly after this webinar, and I'll show you how. But too many personal trainers are selling sessions of personal training, and the problem with that is, that started, like, if you think back to when did personal training really come to market, and it was around like 1975, 1980s in the US. People started helping people in the gym, and then it's called personal training, and it expanded like that. And I remember when I got back into the industry in 2000s, people are selling sessions of training. I used to sell sessions, buy 10 sessions, and the problem with that is, one, I would sell 10 sessions to James, and then James would do 2 sessions in the first week. He was then ill, and then he was away on business. Then it was his girlfriend's birthday, so they went away for the weekend. And suddenly I haven't seen him for 5 weeks, and he's only done 2 sessions, which means, one, James isn't going to get results, because you can't expect to get results if you're just training 2 sessions in 5 weeks. And secondly, I'm not going to get paid again until James uses all of his sessions. So it's just a nightmare. And we see, it's 2014, we still see personal trainers and fitness businesses doing punch cards, selling sessions, buy 10, get 1 free. And as I said, I hold my hand up. I used to do that, big mistake. But I'm going to show you ways to go around that. So one, the client commits to you. There's nothing worse than a client that is flaky and like cancels and, I didn't use that session, so I'll use it next week. And there's nothing worse than you not getting paid on time. So I'm going to show you how to get around that issue.
That's a good point, I think, because again, we have to remember that we are in the results-orientated business. That's the key thing. We have to deliver results. If we don't deliver results to our clients, guess what? They're not going to keep coming back. They're not going to tell our friends about us. And like I said, it's not about pricing them in and keeping them for long-term contracts and stuff like that. It's about getting them the result that they want. They've come to you in the first place for this problem that they want to solve. You are their problem solver, and you have to get them committed and keep them coming to see you. Because like I said, we all know that turning up once a week isn't good enough for results. It really isn't. So again, the same thing as well. Again, we see it all the time in our gym. A lot of people go away with work. A lot of people go with or ill, whatever at all. But they make it up during that week. So if they can't make 2 times a week, 1 week, well, we always say to them, well, come in that week and make an extra session up for that time and make the part of it, because people do have those issues. But results come by commitment and consistency, and that's the key thing here. You're helping them get that commitment and get that consistency whilst training with you.
Yeah, it's awesome. Another thing is, like, no one wakes up in the morning and thinks, wow, I need to buy a session of personal training. What they do is they wake up in the morning, they stand there naked after the shower, they look in the mirror and they think, wow, aren't I overweight? Or wow, haven't I got a bloated belly? Or wow, don't I need to tone up my arms? And that's the thought process. And obviously, to get those results, they need to buy a package. They need to buy the end result, not buy the session.
Absolutely. Cool. So next point.
The next one, I'll show you immediately actionable strategies for converting more prospects to clients and increasing your bottom line straight away. That's what we're going to be covering. So if we just skip to number 11, James, pre-qualification.
Absolutely, no problem at all. Just one question for you, and that's coming in from George. He's just asked us, how do you communicate your value to your first client if you don't have case histories of at least one successful current client?
Yeah, great question, George, and it's a frequent question that we get at MPE. If you just started out in the industry, or are not exactly sure of your situation, but if you don't have like testimonials or case studies of how you've helped other people, I'm sure when you qualified initially, you must have had sort of people that you practice on training. You must have helped a few people, so document that. Go and ring them up, email them, Facebook message them, and say, hey, I'm just looking to gain a couple of sentences about how training with me was for you. So go and get a testimonial. Also use your own story, which is just as powerful. So, why did you get into fitness, George? Was it because previously you lost a lot of weight and you found a love for fitness and you decided to qualify and help more people? Or was you from a sporting background and, similar to myself, played rugby, and going into fitness was just a natural progression for me? So get your story across of how fitness has affected your life and use yourself as a case study too.
Yes, exactly. If anyone sees what we do here at Kettlebell Fever, for example, is if you pop onto our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Kettlebell Fever, what you'll see stories of clients that we put through. Stories sell. Stories is the key point to anything you have in what you're doing, because you'll attract the people that are most like you to come and work out with you. For example, I think I've just written an article up on Breaking Muscle about this. Is like you need to identify your ideal clients by working out who you are and what you stand for. As an example, I've got a police background, rugby background, martial arts background. I'm going to attract those types of people to come and work out with me. I'm not necessarily going to attract mums with kids who need to lose a bit of belly fat, because I can't relate to those guys as well, because I'm not a mum, and B, I haven't got kids. However, for example, there's a good friend of mine, Maxine Hayes. She's a mum. She's a full-time mum, and she's attracting a load of mothers with kids who want to lose weight, and that's her perfect audience and her ideal clients. So tell your story. What is your story? What are your interests? What do you love doing? Sell that. Sell your story, because I guarantee you there are people out there just like you who can relate to you.
Yeah.
Okay, Ben, we'll do next slide.
Number 11, pre-qualification.
Yes. Oh.
So let's get into the sales process. Step 0.5, pre-qualification. This is really important because you don't want to be wasting your time with people that, one, are not serious, and secondly, can't afford what you're offering. So right now you might not be getting many leads in the door, but once you put a marketing system in place, our top VIP members are getting like 50 leads, 100 leads a week coming into their business, like people calling up the phone, either walking into their facilities, Facebook messaging them, emailing them, and they're saying, hey, I've seen the great results you're getting with people. I'm interested. Can you tell me more? So what all of our clients do at MPE is they pre-qualify. And as I said, the reason they do that is, one, to see if the person has enough money, because if they don't, then you can't help everyone in your local town or area. And this is something a lot of fitness professionals have the mindset of, I need to help everyone. But if you try and help everyone, you end up helping no one. So really just focus on the people that are willing to step up and pay for your services, and see the value that you have to offer. Secondly, you want to make sure it's a good fit for you. So, if your background's bodybuilding and you get people ready for, elite bodybuilding shows, and you get, Mrs. Smith, who's 60 and has just had a hip replacement and needs rehab work, it's probably not a good fit of a client for you. So make sure that you pre-qualify them on price, pre-qualify them on what they're looking for is what you offer. And then the third thing is to pre-qualify them and see if they're the decision maker. And this is important, because what you don't want to happen is, say, Mrs. Smith, she comes to you and you take her through a session, or you speak to her on the phone and she meets with you, and she absolutely loves everything that you have to offer. You tell her the price, and then she turns around to you and goes, well, I need to go and check with Mr. Smith. Or it could be the other way around. Mr. Smith says, I need to go and check with Mrs. Smith. Because one, they've just wasted an hour of your time. And secondly, what's going to happen is Mrs. Smith is going to go back and go, hey, Mr. Smith, I went and saw Ben at the gym. Loved the atmosphere there. Really liked him. He was a nice person. And I want to get started on their rehab classes or their weight loss class or whatever it is. What do you think Mr. Smith's first question is going to be? It's going to be, how much is it? So then Mrs. Smith turns around and goes, oh, it's £250 a month. And Mr. Smith is going to say, well, that's expensive. We can go running for free. Let's start tonight. So Mrs. Smith then calls me up and says, oh, my husband said it's too expensive. We're going to go running. And what happens is they go running for 1 or 2 nights a week, and then it gradually fades out, and then they're back to where they started again, in pain, overweight, etc. So what you want to ask on this pre-qualification script is, hey, Mrs. Smith, is there anyone else involved in the decision-making process of you joining Ben's personal training or Ben's gym or whatever it is? And then Mrs. Smith can just go, hey, no, I'm the decision maker. I hold the wallet. I have my own money. And I can spend it on what I want. Obviously, they don't say that to you, but that's what she is saying. Or she says, no, I need to go and check with Mr. Smith. So then my response is, well, it'd be great if Mrs. Smith, you could bring your husband along to the consultation, so I can tell him at the same time a little bit more about what's involved and how we're going to work with you. And then Mrs. Smith will say, okay, great, let's schedule a time for both of us to come along. So then suddenly both Mr. and Mrs. Smith come along to a consultation, which is face-to-face, and I sit them down, I go through my presentation, which I'm going to show you in a second, and I then make them the offer to come and join my gym or personal training sessions. And what normally happens is both people end up signing up because Mr. Smith fully understands what's involved. He doesn't think I'm just a normal personal trainer. He knows that I go above and beyond, and I've got proven results. So I hope that makes sense. So quickly, the 3 bullet points is guard and protect your time from time wasters. Only work with those clients that you want to, and to sift through the leads that you're coming in. So I hope that makes sense.
I think it's a valid point all around there, Ben. I think the key thing is, work with only the clients you want to work with, because there's a lot of people who are just leeches, and who will drain your time, drain your energy. Think about it now. Who are the clients that you dread going in to train at the moment? I can almost assure you there may be 1 or 2, but you don't want any of those people, because they bring you down. They also bring the morale of your other clients around you if you're working in group settings down at the same time. You want more of the same people. It's like, again, good book by Seth Godin. I think it's what's his book called? It's Tribe. It's about tribes, isn't it? About building tribes. It's one of Seth Godin's books anyway. But he talks about you want to find your own tribe of like-minded people and create a community around that idea. And like I said, we've all been there. We sat down for about 45 minutes to an hour with somebody trying to convince them that your best personal training is going to be here, but guess what? It comes to the end, they say, oh, I can't afford it, and they walk away. It's frustrating. And I think about all the time you put into that, which can be stopped instantly on literally a 5-minute phone call with this pre-qualification method that Ben's doing it. And I can guarantee you guys, this pre-qualification thing is absolute gold dust. Please start implementing it as soon as you possibly can.
Yeah, so it's basically just a script, 3 or 4 paragraphs, and it gets them to turn up ready to buy, which is what you want.
Absolutely. So, next slide.
Building rapport, step 1. So I'll go through this real quick, because hopefully, all of you guys are in this industry for a reason. This should hopefully come natural to you. But if you just flick up those bullet points for us, James.
Sure.
Basically, you need to find a common ground. So what you're looking to do. The formatting on this slide's a bit messed up, but hopefully.
Yeah, sorry, but I think it's because of the Google Plus uploading to the system here. So apologies, for that, everybody.
Still read it, but basically, what your goal from now on should be is you don't want to sell personal training online. Like where people have like click here to buy. You don't want to do that. You don't want people just turning up, doing a free trial, and then you going, okay, here's the price list. Which one do you want? And then they either buy or they go away. What you want to do is drive people to a consultation where you sit down with them one-on-one, or 1 to 2, 1 to 3. And it's just like if I was to go and get a nose job tomorrow because I broke my nose playing rugby, I wouldn't just buy a nose job online. I'd call up a surgeon. I'd go and meet the surgeon face-to-face, and he would advise me on what's the best surgery to fix my nose.
I heard there's a great deal of nose jobs right now, Ben. So if you go to nosejobs.com/Ben Davis, I think there's a perfect one for you right there, mate.
Is that right? Or Groupon nose.
Exactly, Groupon.
Another example is if I was to go and you've totally thrown me what I was going to say.
Apologies.
Hopefully you guys are on this webinar listening understand that you're a professional. You want to see, and you're the expert. You need to get people for a consultation in front of you, one-on-one, and you need to find that common ground. So when they walk into your facility or you meet them, I used to meet people in Starbucks. I used to go to people's homes. You walk in, you find a common ground, shake their hand, you smile, make eye contact, yeah, and find that common ground. Be it kids, be it you know someone, they've sent you a referral, you know the local area, because then suddenly it changes the subject. It makes you both at ease. If you just go on to the next bullet point.
Actually, you made a very good point, actually, then. So let's talk about people who maybe running boot camps or something along those lines. If you're trying to get them into a consultation and you haven't got your own facility, now you said you used Starbucks and going to people's homes. What would you recommend to those people who are running boot camps who haven't got a facility to actually do a consultation? Where would you recommend they go and schedule a consultation?
Yeah, I used to go to Starbucks and do it, or any coffee shop, and buy coffee, sit them down, go through this presentation in the corner of the coffee shop when it's nice and quiet. And then I'd also do it in the park with an iPad, but this was pre-iPad days. I used to have a paper flip chart, and I used to sit people down in the park, like after a session or before a session, go through, hey, these are the options, and go through my, it's called auto closer sales system. So that's what I used to do.
Okay, great, thanks for that. So next slide.
Yeah, so make your client feel comfortable. I get them talking, so so they share with you their interests, and people buy from people they know, like, and trust. So you really want to, just make them feel at ease, and the easiest thing for you to do is smile. Show your teeth, smile, and that's the first step. It's an easy slide, but it's an important slide. If we just go on to the next one, James. So step 2 is all about probing and discovering. So you sit down with them one-on-one, and you ask them some certain questions to find out where they are right now. So, for instance, if I sat down with Mrs. Smith, I'd be like, hey, Mrs. Smith, tell me a little bit about yourself and your fitness goals. So then Mrs. Smith, and women open up more than men, but basically they're just going to tell you everything about their life. Mrs. Smith, I've got 3 kids, I work part-time. I've got this injury on my ankle, I've had a bad back, I've tried Zumba in the past, and I heard about you through a good friend. So I've got all of that information straight away. I then need to continue to ask questions. So basically, I tell me a little bit about what did you do at Zumba? Why don't you do that anymore? What issues have you had with your back? Where does the pain affect you? And you continue to ask these questions. So this slide is great. Where, when, how, what, who, why, and basically just question. So as you're asking these questions, you're writing down the notes on a piece of paper, on a clipboard, and basically just trying to withdraw as much information from them as possible. And basically what you're looking to do is find out what their goals are, is ultimately the step you're looking to achieve. Because if you just say to them, hey, Mr. Smith, what's your goal? Oh, I just want to get fit. How many times have you asked that question to someone and that's the response, especially guys? What's your goal, Mr. Smith? Yeah, I just want to get fit. Well, what does get fit mean to you, Mr. Smith? Because to me it means something different, and to the next person it probably means something different. So tell me what that means to you, Mr. Smith. Oh, actually, I went to the doctor's last week and he said I'm close to being type 2 diabetes and going on medication. I don't want to do that, so I need to get fit. Oh, okay, great. So yeah, you want to prevent going on medication, and so you need to really just continue that conversation, so you really find out what their goals are, and ask this one question: why is that important to you? Why is it important to you, Mr. Smith, that you don't go on medication? Oh, well, I've got 2 kids under the age of 12, and I don't want to be that fat dad in the playground and be on medication, or even worse, something happens to me because of my health. Okay, great, excellent. So you just continue to build and ask those questions.
It's interesting you say about the fat dad thing. You'd be surprised at the number of people, like I say, again, looking at the client demographic for Catabolic Fever, for example, we get a lot of people between the age of 40 and 60. And and then what you tend to see is a lot of people coming in saying, yeah, like exactly like you said, I want to get fit. Okay, why do you want to get fit? Okay, well, I've got 2 kids and I can't keep up with them anymore. I don't want to be that fat dad and be the embarrassing guy in school. And you'd be surprised at how many people say that, but it doesn't come out in the first time you ask the question. It comes out halfway through this probe and discover sequence of the autoclosure type system.
Yep, no, definitely. If we just go on to that next slide, James, top 3 questions. So write these down. These are great questions. So I just mentioned a few of them. Tell me a little bit about your health and your fitness goals. This is the first bullet point. The next bullet point is why are those goals important to you? And as I said, you really need to drill down on the emotional reasons why. And then the last one is the most important one. How committed are you to achieving your goals on a scale of 1 to 10? So this is how it goes. So I've asked Mr. Smith or Mrs. Smith like all these questions. I've got all of this data on them. And then I say to them, Mr. Smith, how important is it to you that you achieve the goals on a scale of 1 to 10? 1 being the lowest and 10 being the highest. And if Mr. Smith turns around to me and says, you know what, I'm at 6, I say, well, 6, tell me why 6. Or, I've done personal training in the past and, I didn't reach my goal, so I don't want to like set a bigger goal and fail, and etc. And really what I'm trying to find out is how committed they are, because, I don't really want to take anyone on who's below an 8, because there's going to be hard work. As there's clients that you hate to train. They turn up late, they don't pay on time, they don't get results because they're eating McDonald's at the weekend. And if someone tells me that they're an 8 or below, what I would normally say to them, and I don't personal train anymore, but so I'm trying to remember this from memory, but what I normally would say was, well, Mr. Smith, 6 to me is average, and at Ben's personal training, we don't do average, we only do excellent. So I wish you best of luck in trying to reach your goal, and thank you. And then what normally happens is Mr. Smith is like, oh, no, sorry, I must have misunderstood the question. I'm not average, I'm not a 6. I'm more like an 8 or 9. I'm like, okay, great, well, fantastic. Well, what's stopping you from being a 10? Well, I'm just got a massive work schedule, and I'm just scared that I won't have time to do the nutritional side of things. So then suddenly I've switched it around. I've made him realize that, to succeed, he needs to be like 8, 9, or 10. You can't be doing a 6 or below or whatever. And I know, James, you've used this question when you've done auto-closer consultations as well.
Yeah, absolutely, all the time. It's interesting. And just to throw something else, what I've found as well, which is very interesting, when I ask that people when they say, how committed are you to achieving your goals on a scale of 1 to 10, what I tend to do as well, so this is something I do when we did all the police interviewing and stuff, was kind of like flip reverse it and give them a question they don't expect. Was when most people say they're about, what I found is they say between those 7 and 9. Mostly, that's what happens most of the time. And what I say to them after that was, how come you didn't choose a lower number? And what happens when they say that is, well, they turn around and go to people and say, well, because I'm committed and I really want to get my health and fitness goals. And they start creating a little monologue in themselves and start talking to themselves, well, I didn't choose a low number, but because of X, Y, Z, because I really want to get fit and healthy. So in fact, I'm actually more of a 9 or a 10. And they start thinking about themselves. So yeah, this is something we use all the time. This whole consultation process has to be about them and the reasons why they want to get fit and healthy, why they want to lose weight, why they want to be stronger, because it has to be about them. And the more it's about them, the more of a professional you seem, and the more what you're doing as well is this. They probably don't even really know the real reasons why they're coming in to see you in the first place. They just know they need to get fit and healthy. But we're just finding out is like, yeah, we're giving them the goals, we're giving them the passion, we're giving them the drive to go out and achieve their results by just asking these very questions.
Yep, no, definitely. Let's go on to the next slide. Identifying needs. So I've touched on this a little bit, but basically you must see their need clearly, and they must see it too. So if Mr. Smith just says, I want to get fit, you need to make him realize, what does get fit mean to him? You must know your prospective clients better than they actually know themselves, so you can guide them in the right way. You are the expert. You know more than them when it comes to nutrition, health, fitness, and leading a healthy lifestyle. So you need to guide them through the forest, out of the trees, to find what they're looking for. And you do that by identifying their needs of what they want to actually do. So Mr. Smith said to me originally he wants to get fit, but in reality his goal is not to go on medication so he doesn't become type 2 diabetic. So his goal is to lose weight, and it's trying to identify those needs so he understands it, but so do I at the same time.
Absolutely, now, guys. Let's just underline this whole process so far. It's all about your prospect, not about you, not about what you can do. It's all about what you can do for them, and you need to identify all these problems here, because again, most of these people don't know the problems themselves until you start asking the right questions. The more you ask, the more you'll get back out of it.
The next slide, build the problem, and again, I've briefly touched on this, but bring your clients' needs to the surface. and have a box of tissues nearby, because especially it does get emotional. Guys don't let it get emotional, but women sometimes let it get emotional, and that's okay. If they cry, that's absolutely fine, because it's them understanding and realizing, wow, I've been 5 years, I've not done any exercise, and look what's happened to my body. And that's fine for them to make that realization there and then, and to open up to you. So the more that they understand they have a big problem, the better it is for you, because you can, one, guide them in the right direction to buy a package from you so that you can then help them. This is the most crucial step in making the sales making the sales process, is building this problem. So what would happen is, I would say, we call it holding the mirror up. So Mr. Smith sat down in front of me. I've gone through every question, and then I say to him, Mr. Smith, what I've heard you say is, and I basically just repeat back everything he said. So Mr. Smith, what I've heard you say is that you want to lose weight because you're afraid of going type 2 diabetic. You don't want to go on the medication. You're frustrated that you can no longer run around in the garden with your kids without getting out of breath. You've told me that you also have a slight back issue that it's costing you money with a chiropractor, and he's also recommended that you do some sort of fitness and movement to correct that back. And you've also told me that you've got your cousin's wedding coming up in 3 months, and it would be nice for you to lose weight for that occasion. Is that correct? And Mr. Smith or Mrs. Smith, whoever it is literally just going to shake their head and say yes, because 5 minutes earlier they just told you all of that. So you're basically just holding up the mirror, you're building the problem and bringing it to the surface so they fully understand.
Brilliant, nice one, Ben. Shall I pop to the next slide?
Please, yeah. So this is a great quote. Without needs, there are no solutions. And without solutions, it's virtually impossible to establish a value. So it's a great book, Question-Based Selling. I highly recommend you buy that on Amazon. Without needs, there are no solutions. And without solutions, it's virtually impossible to establish value. So the next slide, number 18, presenting the solution. So I used to do this on a flip chart. I upgraded and got an iPad, and I've done it on my laptop as well. Basically, you want to show them something so they can visualize. And this is a PowerPoint presentation. We call it 5 Steps to Achieving Your Health and Fitness Goals, Guaranteed Results, presented by Ben Davis of Ben Davis Personal Training. And then basically go through what's involved when they come on board for boot camp, group training, or personal training. You show them, you show the prospect what is your product and service. So you go through what's involved on the first stage. So when you come to me, Mr. Smith, we go through like all of your measurements. We do a nutritional consultation. We do before and after pictures, and we document all of these results. So 30, 60, 90 days down the line, we can refer back to them and see how far that you've gone. And then you go on to the next slide, and then you go on from there, and you tell them what's involved with your program. So Mr. Smith, at Ben Davis Personal Training, we do a lot of body weight movements and to make sure that you're functioning properly. And then as soon as I'm happy with your movement patterns, I progress you onto some lighter, kettlebell movements or barbell movements. And then from there, we continue to scale and change your program as you get stronger and fitter. So Mr. Smith's sitting there just thinking, wow, this is totally different to any other personal trainer I've been with. He's actually showing me what's involved and not just beasting me. And then in this presentation, which is crucial, is you show before and after pictures. So whenever I had a consultation with a man, I would put before and after pictures and before and after testimonials and my own story in the PowerPoint presentation. If I was seeing a woman, I'd switch it all around. Basically, I say, hey, Mr. Smith, this is Peter. Peter joined me 12 months ago, and in that time he's lost 3 stone. He's got himself a new job, a new girlfriend, and is 100% endorsing what I do. And then you show the next PowerPoint. Oh, this is Richard. He's the same age as you. Actually, he's got 4 kids, not 3. He came to me because he had consistent knee injury from playing football, and he was unhappy with his fitness and how it dropped, and now he's just done his first ever half marathon. And basically you just show all these people that have achieved goals working with you, to make sure that it's visual. The next slide, though, is the most important on the PowerPoint presentation. I'm going to give this one to you. Skip that one, James. Actually, it's right at the start. So if you could, is that the presentation, the best packaging we've ever tested one? It's like right at the beginning.
Can't see it on here now. Oh, hang on, yeah, the best packaging right
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
Slide 11. Here we go, all the way
yeah.
back here.
I don't know how it got mixed up in the slide deck,
All
but
right, I was
I
talking.
saw it earlier. So this is why James is finding this. So going back to what I said earlier about selling sessions, you
There
don't
you
want
go,
to be
something.
yeah, you got it. You want to be selling packages of personal training. And as I said, Mrs. Smith doesn't wake up in the morning and think, "Wow, I need to buy a session of personal training." Mrs. Smith wakes up in the morning and thinks, "Wow, doesn't my back hurt?" And "Wow, don't I look fat in the mirror?" So to get slim and make that knee not hurt anymore, she needs to commit to training sessions consistently throughout the whole year. I'm sure you don't train once a fortnight, once a month. So why would you expect your clients to do the same? You need your clients training consistently 2, 3, 4 times a week for 3, 6, or 12 months. So this is what, in the PowerPoint presentation, this is what happens. I sit down with the prospective client, Mr. Smith, and I show him this, and I go, right, Mr. Smith, these are my options to commit to me and your goals. I offer 3 programs, kind of serious, serious, and very serious. It's a 3, 6, or 12-month commitment. Now, Mr. Smith, from our conversation and getting to know you, you're not a kind of serious guy. You're more serious or very serious. And that's why I recommend either the serious package for 6 months, training with me 4 times a week, or I recommend the very serious program for a commitment level of 12 months, training with me 4 times a week. Which one would you prefer? And Mr. Smith is just going to look at those and make an instant snap decision. Okay, I'm going to do the serious, I'm going to do the very serious. Ideally, you don't want people training with you just for 3 months, unless they're like moving house or they're moving out of the country. You really want to push people into 6 or 12 months training commitments, because that's, you train 12 months of the year, so should your clients. They shouldn't do 6 months on, 6 months off. Really push them into that 12-month commitment. Obviously, depending on how your business is structured, offer 2, 3, 4 times a week, or even unlimited sessions if you do group training like boot camp or CrossFit or whatever. And then on the right-hand side, monthly investment. Make sure that this is in dollars, but obviously change it to pounds or euros or wherever you are in the world. But basically, you have the monthly investment for personal training or group training, and the reason that is because Mr. Smith sits there and he thinks, right, my mortgage is £2,000 a month, my car payment is 500, I put X amount into my pension, I've got this in savings. That leaves me with £1,000 of spare cash at the end of the month. I can afford to spend £250 a month on personal training. So straight away, he makes an instant decision. So my very serious package, 12-month commitment, twice a week, may be listed at £250, and he can make that snap decision if yes, it is right for him.
Nice one, Ben. So, do we pop back onto the slides we were on before? I think.
Yeah. So number 20, additional key elements to a good presentation.
There we go. There we go. Boom.
Yeah, so as I said, social proof, before and after pictures of your clients. Tell stories that relate to prospects. A risk reversal, take away potential negative impact of a buying decision by offering them a strong money back guarantee. So yeah, basically just say, Mr. Smith, Ben Davis Personal Training, we offer a 100% money back guarantee. If at any time you're not happy or you don't get the results, we'll give you your money back. And in the whole time that I was operating my fitness business, I had to give my money back once, and I was glad I did. I didn't really want her as a client. She was a Mona. She wasn't a good fit for what we did. But don't worry about that. People are good people. Down at heart, they're not going to rip you off. Have terms and conditions in place. Like if someone's trying to lose weight and they're eating McDonald's and KFC every night, and then they turn around 3 months later and they say, "I've not lost any weight." Well, did they follow nutritional guidelines? Probably not. So make sure they understand the guidelines involved, but offer a 100% money back guarantee. Make prospects feel important and reassure them with confidence that you have what they want and need to solve their problems to achieve their goals. And then the last one, remember, people are always moving either away from something they don't want or towards something they do want. And if you get someone in front of you, you're 99% sure they do want what you offer. So make sure you just load up that presentation with social proof, offer that guarantee, and you're good to go.
That's a key. That's a good point, Benny. Like social proof guarantees. Like I always say, whenever you're writing any bit of marketing material, you need to have a good, strong headline. You need to have a good, strong offer, and you need to have a bulletproof guarantee. And that's the key thing to anything when you're trying to sell something or marketing, advertising. Key headline, great attention-grabbing headline, fantastic offer, and also one of those, a fantastic guarantee. And that's, like I said, not many people ask for the guarantee money back. There'll be one or two people, but don't worry about them. What people need to feel is reassured when they're buying something, that if it's, like I said, the risk reversal thing, if something goes wrong, they can't make anything, they need to feel safe and feel welcome. That's what the importance of the guarantee.
Yep. No, definitely.
Okay, next page.
Only a few more slides. We'll get through these pretty quick. So the last one, the most important one, closing the sale. A closing is not something you do to someone. It's an offering of an opportunity to your prospective client to solve their problems. So basically, there's no point going through all of that process to go and go, okay, Mr. Smith, well, thank you. If you want to sign up, great. What you really want to do is walk Mr. Smith over the finish line so that he gives you his debit card or credit card and you charge him money for personal training, boot camp, whatever it is. So make sure you close the sale. It's not like I'm going to close him. You're making him realize that he needs to take action now, and the opportunity, the solution to his problem is your opportunity, and that's what you need to do. So make them feel comfortable with saying yes, and then present an alternative choice for your prospect. So earlier on the other slide, I said, which one would you prefer, the 12-month or the 6-month? So you give him 2 options, and then he can make a snap decision at which one suits him best. Number 7, objection handling. Now it's the next slide. We call this the bonus round, and if you follow all of the steps correctly, rarely do you need to use this. But if I go through all of this and Mr. Smith turns around to me, he says, "Oh, you know what, Ben? I'm not sure I can afford it." So this is what you need to do. You listen, so you never interrupt. You question the objection, you answer it, you confirm the answer, and then you ask again for the sale. So if Mr. Smith turned around to me and he went, "Oh, you know what, Ben, I'm not sure I can afford it," I then just say very politely, "Oh, that's strange, Mr. Smith, because when we spoke on the phone 2 days ago, I asked you if the services I provide are within your budget, and you said yes. So what's changed between Monday and today?" "Oh, well, yeah, you're right. I can afford it. I'm just not sure." "Okay, Mr. Smith, what are you not sure about?" "Oh, I'm not sure if and what it is basically is Mr. Smith is fearful of committing to his goals, and you just need to reassure him that he's making the right buying decision. But as I said, another objection is I need to go and check with my wife, or I need to go and check with my husband. If that's the case, then you didn't do step 0.5 and pre-qualify them properly. If they object and say, "Oh, you know what, I don't think this is for me," you didn't do 0.5 correctly. If they object and say, "I haven't got any money," you didn't do 0.5 correctly. So you shouldn't really have to come to the objection handling process if you follow the steps correctly. And then the last slide, just recap everything. So the 7-step system for selling is most important: pre-qualification. You build the rapport, which is the friendly smile, looking them in the eye, firm handshake. You probe and discover to find out what the issue is. You identify their needs. You then build that problem up. You go through the presentation. You close them, and then if you don't close them, you show them. You go through the objection handling. And the next few slides are basically. I know that obviously this webinar is going up worldwide, but these are just UK trainers who are making a lot of money using this system. Matt Jones, who's actually speaking at Strength Matters, he's a client of MPE's. He's gone from he's gone up to 10 grand a month on reoccurring revenue because of AutoCloser. The next one, Dave Draper, he owns a CrossFit box in Brighton. 28 new clients, and brings in a total of £12,000, and he's doing group training for that. Tanavir in London went through this process, signed up £11,000 plus from one client, so pretty impressive. The world record actually is held by a guy in Portsmouth who's part of the Strong First community, Strength Matters Kettlebell Fever community, Jez. He went through this process and sold £33,000 worth of personal training to 2 directors of a company. The next guy, John, 6,500. Gemma does boot camp, 6,500. Last one there, Neil, 3,330 from one new client. And the reason that it works so successfully is because these guys are using AutoCloser MPE sales system. If you go on to the next slide, James.
I think sorry, apologies for the rendering here now of the slides, but just to go back a little bit and just to reassure everyone a little bit here now. So there may be some personal trainers out there who see these figures and they're going like, "Holy crap! What is this? That's way unrealistic, and I don't understand that. That could never happen to me." Trust me, I felt exactly the same way. Me and Ben both were there right at the very beginning. We've been we've been in your shoes. We don't know where to start. We don't know how to get going, and we started following systems and procedures to get us to where these things are. And these are just a sample of what people are closing up and down the country and all over the world. These types of figures. Don't get scared by the figures. And the key thing is that if you don't ask and get the pricing right, if you don't ask, you never get. And that's the key thing here for a lot of these people who've getting these prices and getting these systems in place here now, is that they've never asked for these amounts before in the past, and you'd be surprised what people will actually give to you when you actually ask them and you present it in a very a value orientated way. So just don't get people put off by the figures. They're real things, and you can achieve them too by just having a simple follow. It's simple, easy to use system in place for everything you go for your consultations that you run after every client. For each person should have the same level of service and go through the same system.
Yeah, no, definitely. And as I said, when I first came across this information in 2008, it blew my mind. I was like, wow, really? Like, could people actually charge those fees and get that amount of client money from a client? And the answer is yes. You don't know how much people have got in their savings, how much they get of a bonus, how much they earn per month. And there's people out there who, will pay above average pricing and will pay more for results and customer service. I'll give you a great example. So where I live, there's a ton of gyms. There's a Anytime Fitness, there's a gym group, and it costs £15 a month to go and be a member there. And you go in and no one says hello to you, you don't get a program, and you just left to your own accord to go through the equipment on your own, and ultimately you don't get results. In the same town is an MPE member who charges £300 a month for group training. And you go there, you get a personalized nutritional plan, you get a smiley face, you get to know the community, you're part of the community, you get a goodie bag when you join, there's lots of incentives along the way, and she is busier than the gym that's charging £15 a month. And so she's making more money and is doing a better job with her clients than these bigger box commercial gyms, if that makes sense. And we've not got too much into pricing and stuff, but it's a shame when I see personal trainers charging less than £50 an hour, because if you were to add up the amount of time, money, and energy that you spent on qualifying as a trainer, if you're charging less than £50 an hour, you're not doing yourself any justice. You are worth more than that. You just need to go find people that are willing to pay for it. And it doesn't matter where you live around the world. There are pockets of people that will pay £50 plus more for personal training. MPE's Auto Closer sales system is used in 92 countries. We've had people buy and use this. It's translated into Chinese, Afrikaans, Dutch, Spanish, Portuguese. I had a guy the other day in Brazil. He owns a CrossFit box. He's using it in Portuguese, and is doing extremely well.
Just a question just come in from George again. Another great question, and it's something we see a lot all the time. He says, "What is the right price for personal training? Most trainers around me charge £20 to £35 an hour and advertise this. Surely anything more will scare people off, won't it?" I think it's a great question. I'll let you answer this, Ben, before I chip in with my 2 pence on this. But go ahead.
It's a great question, and same. How do you determine how much you charge a prospective client, or how much your rates are for your business? Well, if you have a facility, what a lot of personal trainers do wrong is they see what their competitors are charging. They charge the same, or they charge a little bit less, and that's the wrong way to go about charging your rates in the marketplace. What you do need to do is do the maths. So if you have a facility, you're going to have overheads, and so you need to do the maths accordingly. Like, how much should I charge because I have overheads of a lease, of electricity bills, heating, staff costs, etc. And if you don't have a facility, you do outdoor stuff, or your overheads are minimal. You need to, it comes down to how much do you want to earn a month. So let's say your target is to earn £10,000 a month, which may sound a lot, it may not, depending on where you're at right now. But then do the maths. How many clients do you need per month to hit that target of 10,000 a month? And if you do the maths, it's not very much. Just need 20 clients paying you £500 a month for you to hit that income goal of 10,000. So it comes down to two things. One, what are your overheads, and secondly, what do you want to earn as a salary per month? And don't be worried what your competition is charging. I know if I was to start personal training tomorrow in my local town. I'd do research, I'd have a look, and then I'd be quadruple what everyone else charges, because I want to stand out and I want to attract people that are super serious and train with me. And I tell you what, and James will agree, is it's easier to train. I've done big group sessions, and I had a business with 258 members. If I was to do it again, I'd have half that and charge them more. So I'm still making the same, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's a good way. You got to think about this. Is like, again, if your goal was to make £100, for example, is it better to have one person paying £100 or 10 people paying £10? And that's the best way to think about it, because you can be running around after the same amount of people just to make that running around 10 times more and doing more of the effort for those 10 people than you would do for that one person paying £100. And that's the key thing here. So George, like I said, I felt the same way. When I started personal training, I looked at everyone around me and they were charging between £30 and £40 an hour. I spoke to Sean, spoke to Ben, and the first thing I did was I just doubled it. I actually put myself down straight away as £90 an hour. And I picked up clients left, right, and centre. And the way, because from the question before is how do you advertise your service and generating the inquiries in the first place? That's a whole separate webinar topic in itself right there. But what I did was set up referral systems and referral schemes with key partners, for example, osteopaths, chiropractors, and physiotherapists. I went and visited them and started introducing myself, and they started referring clients out to me in that way. But I think we'll save this for, excuse me. We'll save that for another webinar topic to talk about, because that's just one you can do on its own and talk for whole days about that, like lead generation. But like I said, for me, it's about maximizing your time. And like I said, it's better to have one client paying £100, for example, than 10 clients paying £10 just for your own sanity.
Definitely. It's been a pleasure talking to you guys today. As James said, we just scratched the surface on sales. Our sales course that our clients go through, is 10 hours, and I've condensed that into snippets over the last 60 to 90 minutes. If you'd like to find out more, I've got two options. You can email me direct, ben@netprofitexplosion.com. But I want to go one better. We've got in the office loads of referral guides that we can send to you in the post physically. James, did you get that link I Skyped to you?
Yeah, sure. It is mpeloveskettlebellfever.com.
Yeah. Do you reckon you could bring that up on your screen now? So
give me a second. Let me pull it up.
So one of the easiest ways to grow any business, it doesn't matter, if you're an accountant, you sell, you're a beautician, or if you're a personal trainer, easiest way to grow your business is through word of mouth referrals, and I'm sure you guys agree. But the question is, do you have a system that consistently brings you in word of mouth referrals? And I know when I was a trainer, I would get referrals from time to time because I was good at what I did, but it wasn't a system. When you have a referral system in place, you get clients coming to you automatically, 365 days of a year. So if you go to this website, it's mpeloveskettlebellfever.com, and this is the gift that you can get absolutely free. It's like 15, 20 pages. You also get an online video, and it's all about referrals, how to do advanced referral marketing in your business to generate an influx of clients, and it works really, really well. On that screen, you see there's Dan John. He endorses 100% what MPE do. I think below that is, who is it below Dan John? Can you scroll down, James?
Scroll down now.
Yeah, Brett Jones as well, Matt Jones, a few of the people that I've mentioned already. Yeah, so some heavy hitters in the fitness industry endorsing what we do there. So just head over to mpeloveskettlebellfever.com. You can submit your information. We're sending that to you for free straight away. And if you have any questions, my email is ben@netprofitexplosion.com.
It's a good point, guys. I wouldn't ask Ben to come on here and talk to you guys and share this information if I didn't believe in the systems and stuff that they do. Like what we're trying to do at Kettlebell Fever and Strength Matters is provide you with the best education resources, and that comes from not just the training side of things, but the business side of things as well. And I've worked with Ben a lot over the years, and we work with each other a lot on different formats. And like I said, there's a number of people who do use the MPE systems and highly effectively, and I can't recommend enough. It's a system that when I left the police, I got introduced to this system, and it changed my life in literally the space of a month. and trying to implement these systems. And it's all about just doing the damn instructions, following the damn instructions, and following along. So this is why we're partnering up with MP a lot of the stuff and helping you guys out. And there'll be a lot more stuff we'll be doing in the future with MP and like helping you guys here, because like I said, it's about the complete package, and that is training advice, educational advice when it comes to fitness and movement, rehab, that sort of stuff. But it comes to the business advice as well, guys. You need the complete package to succeed and to help as many clients as you possibly can. Like I said, I always find the people who do things better than you, and MP are certainly those guys when it comes to sales and systems with fitness marketing.
Thank you, James. Appreciate your endorsement.
Not a problem at all. Ben, like I said, there's a lot of people here talking already. George has already said he's looking forward to a lead generation webinar already. I think that's something we can definitely do. And there's one more question from George as well, who's been our mainstay in the question front today. It's what's the best way of advertising your service and generating the inquiries in the first place? Is it a more targeted approach than flyers and posters?
Yeah.
Well, I can give my 2 pence in a second. Ben, what would you say?
Yeah, thanks, George. Great question again. So it's a common question we get asked. So if you're starting from scratch, no clients, how do you get clients? The top 3 ways are referrals. So download this free gift, and we'll show you how to do it. So using contacting people past colleagues, friends, family, etc., telling them that you've just started a fitness business, you're looking to generate clients and generate referrals. The second one is business networking, which me and James have been involved with.
That's a huge thing, guys. And I just, sorry, Ben, just jump in here. If anyone's out there and you're not a member of a BNI, which is Business Network International, find one in your local area and get networking with people like here, because guess what? You'll generate a lot of leads very quickly. It's what we do at Kettlebell Fever all the time, and we pull in various different leads all the time doing it. And Ben, you did the same thing too, didn't you?
Yeah. So BNI, they're around the whole world. It's fantastic. Costs £500 to join, but don't look at that as an expense. Look at it as an investment, because all that takes is really one client from that investment. And it's hard for us to explain on a webinar what it is. But basically, go along. You can do it for free for the first 2 sessions. You go in a room, take some business cards, take some flyers, and in that room are anything between 20 to 40 local business owners. So in that room will be a chiropractor, an estate agent, a funeral director, a florist, and you get to go and meet people, shake their hands, and do business, basically. So the next time one of their friends complains they've got an injury or they're overweight, you can just simply say, hey, I know Ben, he goes to my business networking group. And it works the other way around. So say a friend of mine's car breaks down, I say, hey, I know this great mechanic at my business networking group, here's his card, give him a call. And I'm not doing it justice in that short speech, but go and check it out. The third and final thing I'd recommend is, or 2 things actually, public speaking, getting out there, knocking on doors and doing like a lunch and learns and stuff like that. All you need is a PowerPoint presentation, 10, 15 slides, and you'll be surprised at the amount of people that are open for you to come and speak to them. Be it mother and baby groups, NCT groups, which is a paid mother and baby group in the UK. There's like women's clubs, there's business networking events. There's a ton of offices out there that want their staff to be more productive and healthy, and knocking on their door. You got to step outside your comfort zone, but you're already doing that, day in, day out in what you're doing. And growing a business is tough. If you no one's ever built a successful business sitting behind a computer. You have to go out there, knock on doors, and get in front of people. And then the last thing, which James is an expert at, is social media. So I'm sure James will sort of give you a few tips on that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say approximately for the whole of Kettlebell Fever, and when it comes to everything with Strong First in the UK and everything else we do, is I'd say approximately 90% of our business comes from social media, and it is a fantastic tool to get to people where they hang out. However, it's very important to understand it's very different. You can't just go onto social media and start selling straight away. It's about providing something of value, positioning yourself as an expert, as the go-to place, the trusted authority, by doing things along those lines. It's hard to explain in a nutshell, but for as little as £5 a day, you can target up to 2,500, 3,000 people easily who are actually people you want to be looking at. But again, you need to think about who your ideal market is. And like Ben said today, you need to think about what's your story today? What is it you want to get out to people? What are the type of the ideal clients you want? As an example, you can go and specifically pinpoint those people on Facebook, for example, with Facebook advertising. Let's use an example. Let's say I want to go after somebody who reads Men's Health magazine, who's 35 years old, he's married, has 2 kids, and he's got an income of above £100,000. You can be that specific and target a group of people exactly like that with Facebook advertising, and it costs literally as less as £5 a day. But social media advertising and Facebook advertising is absolutely worthless unless you have a sales system in place, such as that was what auto closure is with MPE, because it'll be like a leaking bucket. You'll constantly have leads coming in, but it'll be constantly going out and flowing through the whole system. So until you get the sales system right, and you know what you're going to say to them on the phone, what you're going to say to them when they come into your consultation, social media advertising is a waste of time, because it's not the right way to do things. Get your sales system right first, then we can go and talk about how we can advertise on social media and get things that way. Yes, you've got Google adverts and stuff like that as well, but most productively these days it's Facebook advertising, which is a lot cheaper, and also Twitter advertising as well, which we can look at to here. But again, I think those are completely 2 or 3 webinar topics themselves we can talk about for a long time. But my advice to you is get your sales system right. Make sure you plug all the leaky holes in your bucket in your system at the moment, and then we can start paying for advertising and social media advertising. But you can do things for free, like be consistent on your Facebook page. If you haven't got a Facebook page yet for your business, go ahead and build one. Make one very quickly. You can easily get 100 people liking that page by asking your friends to just go and like it, and then you can build on it along there. Don't pay for advertising for people to like your page, though. If you pay for people to like your page, you're basically wasting your money. Facebook is not about that anymore. It used to be about the likes, but it's not about that anymore. You're just wasting your money. It's about capturing details and email addresses on social media advertising, not the likes. But I'll talk about that again some other time, guys. Hope that makes sense. But focus on your sales system first, and then we'll talk about the social media advertising very shortly. But it's very simple things. Start posting on your Facebook page. If you haven't got one, build one. Start telling great stories, great testimonials, and be consistent. Don't just post once and then a week later post another one. You need to post every single day. Use as an example our pick of the day. We post that every single day, and that's always on people's news feeds, and they come to expect it. And it's what you should be doing. The same thing with your things. Post healthy tips. See a great article you've read online somewhere. Post that onto your Facebook page. Share it with your community. Share it with your people. Provide value. Facebook advertising is about value, not about selling.
Yeah, some great points. Yeah.
Cool. So, Ben, I just want to say a massive thanks for joining us today. We've gone way over time, getting way over schedule again with everybody here. I really hope everyone's enjoyed it and they've got some little tidbits. Again, if you want some more information about MPE and their sales system, it's how I got started. It's over at mpeloveskettlebellfever.com. You can get a whole load of free goodies from them, guys, and I highly recommend it. For me, guys, we'll be doing some more stuff with Ben Davis in the coming future, along with webinars and maybe even a couple of workshops as well to you guys to help you get started. But just bear that in mind. For those of you who have been listening in today, thank you for taking time to listen to us. If you want to come and see Ben in person and me speak about business stuff, the Strength Matters Summit is taking place on the first weekend in November, and you'll be able to come and hear us and speak about here. I'll be specifically talking about Facebook advertising, and Ben and his team with Tom Jacobs, we're talking about various different systems like this as well to help you with your business. So that's the Strength Matters Summit coming up in November. Ben, is there anything you'd like to say? Any last words you'd like to say to everybody out there?
Yeah, it's been a pleasure spending some time with you today. As I said, we have a ton of personal trainers and fitness business owners that are connected with Strength Matters, Kettlebell Fever, Strong First, and it's great to be able to help you. I know the hard work you put in on your own fitness and the certifications that you've been through, and I see a lot of personal trainers out there that are really underskilled, and it's great that you guys have gone above and beyond, invested in your education, but now it's just as important to get that business education on the same level, and you guys will be flying to make 2015 your best year ever financially.
Brilliant. Ben, thanks so much for taking part today. Really appreciate your time, and we'll speak very soon. Yep. Cheers, guys. Thanks so much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.